Hey guys, right before the video starts, this is a continuation of the previous video, so if you haven't seen that yet, I encourage you to go back and take a look. It's linked below. Anyway, we're going to pick up right where we left off, which was with the rebuilding of the crankshaft. These bearings are pushed on the crankshaft, the end bearings, because it's all pushed together, or pressed together, so I'm going to be taking these to work so I can get them pulled off, see what they are for sure, and replace them. And then I got the new gasket set in. And then over here, I got some new used pistons here and here. Well, as you can see, my bottom end is back together. It's not torqued to spec right now because I don't have a torque wrench on me right now. I forgot it at work when I went to go rebuild the crankshaft or take the new bearings. So I got new bearings in the crankshaft. I told you that I was going to replace the end ones, and I did that. You can see they originally, the ones I got from the shop, they had seals on them and they were grease in there. That should wear out, or the grease should come out of there eventually, so it's not a big deal. Spin is pretty good. This rod's a little loud, but cleaned up pretty good. Stuck some oil, of course, in the bearings to make them all nice and smooth after soaking them in different stuff, evaporos, mineral spirits, different stuff like that. There's the end bearing there. Then there's the one with the snap ring in there. I can link below what sizes they were. I put some Loctite 515 between the two cases, made sure it was nice and light. Forgot this sticks out so much here, so I had to wipe that off. Yeah, so I got that all bolted back on, and now in the manual over here, you can see that's the bolt pattern. So I just kind of, you just got to go back and forth in the star pattern kind of, so it's not too hard to do. You got these four, and these four, and then these four. And then there were two outer ones that I just did in that same pattern too. Be safe than sorry. It's just 13 and 11 millimeter bolts, so not too bad. Once I get a torque wrench, I'll make sure they're all the right tightness. And so I guess now what I have to do is I have to do some honing on the cylinders, get my seals in place, and stator plate back on, and cylinders, heads, pistons, all that good stuff. So all right, start working on that. Here's the plate that goes on over here. Now, this is our old seal. Looking a little nasty. That's the spring that would have been in there. And then here's our new gasket set. And it's got the seal and it's got the gasket that's supposed to go on that piece of aluminum that the seal mounts in. And this is the seal for the other side. So I'll start getting these covers, this cover here, cleaned up, and seals in place and mounted and all that stuff. So. And you probably saw in that time lapse, the little bit of the time lapse I included, that we forgot to put the gasket in and we were putting on the cylinder backwards. We got it in the right direction now. So both cylinders are in. Those new pistons, or new used pistons, are in with the F for flywheel facing this end. And yeah, because originally we put one of the cylinders on, I was like, wait a minute, this bolt is not supposed to be facing the inside. And we had it on backwards. Yep. So now I gotta just look at putting on the head. Alright, quick update. So as you can see, I got the cylinders bolted on, got new lock washers. They're just 10mm lock washers. Also put new lock washer on the top and on both sides, but it's a pretty standard one. They were American ones that fit on the metric ones. And you probably noticed if you watched the time lapse for the head getting put on, I forgot to put the washers underneath the head on this side, and then I put the lock washer on the bottom accidentally on this side, so I had to one by one take them off, and the opposite I bolted them on, and I switched it the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, I put a new grommet in there. Got the wires all through for the stator plate here with the exciter and the other coil. I got this lined up with the mark I previously made. It'll focus. You can see a little bit of a mark in there. So I had to put a new screw in here since the other one was damaged. Just a simple M6 by 1. So that's all in place, tightened up. So now we're getting pretty close. I'm just gonna need to look at putting the flywheel on and base the bottom bracket and the clutch and stuff like that. Also, this is the 5-stud cylinder head torque that I used. So it's pretty simple. You just basically make a star pattern. So pretty easy to follow. Probably doesn't matter exactly where you start, but I made sure to do the one as the where the tab edge of the gasket is. So probably doesn't make much difference, but I'm assuming that's the way it's supposed to be. And, yeah. So in terms of torque, I torqued it to spec here. So 1820 for the smaller crankcase bolts and the head bolts, and then 2325 on the larger crankcase bolts. So actually no, it was 17, 18 pad. So I did 18 on both these and then 23 on this. So that's all done. There's the bolt pattern for the head. I already showed you the twin cylinder crankcase bolt pattern, but yeah, that's what I did. Alright guys, we're in the final stages here of this rebuild. I got the carburetors placed on. The choke cable's been fixed because the piece inside here that this mounts to broke off. So I got that back on. Chokes are in. They're not adjusted probably quite right, but I don't think it's going to be stuck on or anything. This, number one, as it was, the throttle was stuck in there, as you probably remember. Now it is moving with the throttle lever. Before it wasn't doing that. When I put it in, I put some two-stroke oil on the cylinder in there. Plugs in, tightened. I got the exhaust pipe on. I did that off camera. I also got this whole thing assembled. Basically put this back case on, put the flywheel on, put that cup inside on, and then put this outer case here on and the recoil for that. And then put the hook there. I don't like this exhaust pipe, but I think this must have been how it was stock because it can really bounce around in there. Might have to add something onto that to clamp it, like the other ones are usually clamped here. I'm gonna get a my boat gas tank that's got 40-to-1 mixed in it. I know the book calls for 20-to-1 on a break-in, but this isn't gonna really be a break-in. I'm just gonna be firing her up and see if she runs. So I might squirt a little something in the cylinders even. I don't know, a little oil or something. And see what goes. I'm pretty sure I got the screws at the right amount. I might look in the book and see what they're supposed to be exactly. I did notice this is very broken here. The plastic broke. That was because this was stuck and it got kind of pulled. But anyway, oh yeah, I should probably also mention, fuel pump has all arrows on it. It's hard to see in there that say like out and in and stuff like that. So I just hooked it up accordingly. I put some 1/4-inch fuel line. I only had some black stuff laying around. It'd be nice to have clear so I can see inside, but you get what you get. Anyway, I think this is basically how I'm gonna run it. I did test for spark before I put it in here. Hopefully I didn't lose it plugging this in, because I don't know if this works, and I don't know if the ignition switch here works. If I don't have spark, then I have to unplug that and see if I still do or not. So anyway, I don't think this is plugged. I did get just a little oil out of it. That's Marvel's Mystery Oil. If it does have a little clog, I do have that underneath, so it'll blast the stuff into there. But without further ado, I'll get the gas tank and I'll fire up. Well, here we go. Let's see what happens. I got the boat tank hooked up. I got the primed it a little bit and it started doing a little fuel escape. I don't know if I just overfilled the bowls and it went out the drain plug or what I did, but let's see. A little choke. Oh, look at that. So just a quick update, I had it running for probably about a couple minutes and I figured out what the problem is just by putting my hand on this cylinder. This one's cold. I put my hand over the carburetor, still didn't kick in, so this carburetor's probably got something wrong with it that this cylinder isn't firing. This cylinder, it ran on this cylinder. I was going back and forth between giving it some choke and giving it some gas, and because it wouldn't run with nothing. But whenever it would start to die out, I'd give it a little choke, and then I'd have to give it a little gas after I gave it choke. when I took the choke off. And so I'm gonna play around. I might look at sometimes squirting a little gas into the carburetor through the back to just make sure the cylinder is actually like doesn't have an issue that it's not running. I should probably run a compression test on it too, just to make sure my rebuild's good with the rings, because these were used pistons and rings. And I know this should have shrouds on it, but they can get put on later. They're not hard to put on. It's gonna run hot without the shrouds, so because the flywheel has that fan blade on it, so it cools the whole engine. So I'm definitely gonna put that on when I get the chance. Yeah. All right, guys, quick update here. So I wired this plug slightly incorrectly. The pinkish red wires here are supposed to go to the center of the bottom row of terminals. So that way it actually turns off when you go to turn it off. Because as you guys can see up here, I have the key right here and the kill switch. This doesn't work on this snowmobile I discovered, but the key now will take spark away from the engine, so I can turn it off with the key. Because when I was running it before, it wasn't turning off. So I took the carburetor back off the engine, I opened it back up, and somehow the pilot jet had already gotten plugged. So I cleaned the whole thing out, unplugged the jet, and I fired it up and it was running on both cylinders. It was running a little high, so I turned the, made sure these are out about 1 turn each for all the adjustment screws. I'm gonna play around with them more. I saw that these are actually supposed to be 1/4 to 3/4 of a turn out, according to the book. And then these, I think, were supposed to be turned out. I don't remember, I gotta look again. But yeah, I'm gonna fire it up one more time and you're about to hear it running the way it's supposed to. Let me just adjust the camera. See? Turn the key on. I don't know if I need choke to get it running. Not running the greatest. I didn't expect it to run great either because it's got the wrong jet in this carburetor that wasn't running before. It's got a 45 instead of a 30. Timing might not be great either because I don't know if the flywheel is supposed to turn a little bit when it runs. I don't think it is. Like it's supposed to swing out somehow inside there. I don't remember how that works. I got to look more in the book I have. But yeah, she runs, and that was the goal here. I'll make some more videos on more stuff with this. I'm thinking maybe when it starts getting a little warm out, since it's the middle of winter right now, or getting close to the end of winter, so I can pull everything out of here and I'll take the whole body, make sure everything's removed, and I might sandblast the whole thing down and interrupt. But that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the rebuild here, and see you guys in the next one.